Hi guys, welcome back. We're talking about injuries today, how to train through them, training around them, when to stop training. Before we get any further though, this is our personal experiences. This is not medical advice.
Definitely
And
not.
if you've got something serious going on or you've got anything going on, get it checked out. Don't take our sort of word for things. It's just our experience and our personal opinions on this. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below. Yeah, training for injuries. Pretty shit sometimes, isn't
Constantly injured, no, are you?
it?
Let's be honest.
yeah.
If you're not constantly injured, are you even training?
Yeah, that's fucking right. And like by injury, you're talking like just general aches and pains, aren't you? Not
Aches and
not just sort of
pains.
like blowing out knees and elbows.
Yeah, aches
Yeah,
and pains, elbow pain, some tendonitis that you can't get rid of in your elbow or something.
yeah. So I think my neck for the past like 6 years has just been a. I don't maintain it. I'm not going to sleep well for a week or two. So it's fortunately getting into a combat sport and such a physical sport. It's something that we've got to deal with. Um,
Yeah,
you can minimize and reduce your risk to these things. At touch wood, I've been able to. I'm not that I did any major scans of my body, but I've been able to avoid what I call major injuries, like surgery-wise type of major injuries. I've had some bad injuries, but yeah, I've been quite fortunate with those kind of big blowout injuries.
yeah,
Yeah, training around them is a difficult, or it can be difficult, depending on how you communicate with your training partners.
if you're committed enough to training through,
Yeah,
let's like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
true. Well, I guess as well, like with that, like we kind of might have to weigh up the options there as well, because
Let's talk a bit about context, really.
yeah, because like we've got like a few people that work with their hands in the room, and I remember there was an injury 7 or 8 months ago. It wasn't a big injury, but one of the lads works with his hands a lot, and he just had a wrist lock that went on a little bit faster than.
Yeah,
So it's like, and so he wasn't pissed about it. He was just kind of like going, my hands are my job.
of course, yeah,
And I was like, no, understandable. And with things like that, it's like if you're on your feet all day and you've got a dicky knee and you kind of feel like it could get worse, then you need to sort of manage your training around those injuries very differently. Say to the likes of like me and you,
yeah,
where
that just don't care.
there's that element there, and like we're kind of fortunate enough to be able to sort of like work within the sport as well. So,
Yeah,
and we've got the sort of bit of experience of like knowing how to train around various injuries because we're
yeah,
so involved and we're involved in sport and just sport in general, day in day
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Um,
I'd agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like,
There's
what?
a there's a dark side to it, though, isn't there?
Oh yeah, no, there is a dark side to it where like I have my neck last year. I was I would continue training until I was getting pins and needles in my
Yeah,
hand, just
because it took a
cause.
while off, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it took about 3 or 4 months completely off the mat, which fucking killed me.
Yeah,
And like I say, the dark side to it is if I'd had addressed it sooner, it might have been 3 or 4 weeks.
yeah. It's a
Like,
tough one, and it's all about context.
yeah,
I think if you're working, you got a full time job, and you generally like need your body, you are gonna have to weigh up. Is a sport for you ultimately
mm,
because you are going to get hurt.
yeah,
So it's not a matter of if it's when you're
yeah,
going to get hurt. You are going to get hurt if you spend enough time on the mat. But I do see a lot of people that are soft too,
fair.
where they have a little injury and then just don't train, like they go missing,
Mm,
and like you are going to have to cop the little niggles,
yeah,
and you are going to have to train through them. I think I think if you can get on the mat, you can train. Like
yeah,
if you can physically get on the mat, you can train,
yeah,
drill. You don't have to spar, but come to training.
mm,
I think I as you know, I popped my knee out, I dislocated the kneecap, torn the meniscus, torn the MCL. I took my brace off and I trained. That's not medical advice, but I did it because I wanted to get on the mat, and I could get on the mat. If I physically couldn't get on the mat and my knee was loose and it was unstable, granted, should have been in the brace, but I could get on the mat. I think a lot of people are like, oh, my elbow's sore, so I'm going missing for 3 months, or I'll train, but I'm going light today. And then you give them a little bit of window to jump on your back and try and rip your leg off or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of confusion there, isn't there?
Yeah. Like, because there's one thing I'll do is, like, because I'm on the mat, like, we're in the mats 6, 7 days a week. Like,
Yeah.
I will kind of, if I am achy in certain joints, sometimes I'll just be like, I'm not rolling today because I'm going to roll tomorrow or I rolled yesterday or.
But you are here though. That's the.
Well, I've kind of got no choice to be here sometimes.
Yeah. We always have a choice.
Yeah, no,
we
true.
Always have a choice.
But
you could say I'm not coming in, and you don't.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah, I think sort of finding your way around it. Like say missing, like say if you have took a knock on a bump and like taking a week to let it rest, like you're a grown up
and you know your own body.
Yeah, like make them decisions. But yeah, like I think what's important with you, what you're saying there is like still getting into the gym because it's keeping that routine going.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed from especially like earlier bouts when I did have an injury or like had a couple of weeks off, just whether it's scheduling or whether I say took a bump and I needed to let the body rest and things like that. I found it difficult initially to get back in the routine of it.
Yeah.
Especially in the earlier bouts, like purple belt and onwards, time away from the mats when it wasn't my choice, would kind of kill me a little bit. But when I was at blue belt, like time away from the mats when it wasn't really when it's kind of enforced on me, would upset me sometimes. But then I'd fall out that routine, and then I'd just take a bit longer time to get back in.
Yeah.
Whereas when I've done it, when I've come in and sort of still kept part of the community's sat mat side and chat with everybody, maybe done a bit of drilling, maybe selected training partners to do some light rounds with, and let them know what my injury is and stay the fuck away from it.
Yeah.
I've been able to get back into training on that routine so much easier.
Yeah. If you're dealing with like a niggly injury, like ribs or elbow or shoulder, you can just drill, can't you?
Yeah.
Just work around it, but don't knock them at all for long periods. Or, I see this very regular. They'll train and then that niggly injury will appear. And then they'll completely back off and then they'll get back into sparring and drilling again. And then a next thing comes up. Like I had, just an example, I had a lad said to me the other week, like, oh, I've hurt my knee. And I was like, right, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
He's like, I've hurt my knee, should I train? And I'm like, you're a grown adult, like, I don't know. But that same knee pain, I know another type of person wouldn't mention it. And they just train.
Yeah.
And they just kind of, I'll drill. I'll maybe be careful about it.
Yeah. So I think it does boil down to kind of like to say the individual there, then, doesn't it? Like, and I think
you can't be too careful, can you?
No, because you still got to sort of live and try and progress in what you're going for. So like, if you're being too careful, you just wrap yourself in bubble wrap, and you're not really gonna push on with that progress. But then there's the other side of it where, like I say, like I mentioned before, myself is not being careful enough. So I've got elbow injuries now that, again, I've said I've never had bad injuries, but like I've just not rested my elbow when I've been caught in an armbar properly, and I can still feel it on certain points. I say I won't call that a bad injury. It's just an ache that I'm living with. But yeah, there's the other side of it as well, where it's kind of like, okay, this was about 3 or 4 years ago, but I'm still feeling it. Like, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But it was completely avoidable if I would have rested. But it doesn't bother me, me personally. But then somebody else might not be happy about having the sore elbows or the sore knees. So they may have to change, maybe adjust their training approach to account for that. So like if they are injured and they still want to come and train, rather than sparring, sit on the side, do rehab.
Yeah.
Sit on the side and like try and coach and help your partners sort of rolling. So like give them some technical advice.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the best technical advice, but you're engaging your brain and still being involved.
Yeah.
Sit on the side and drill. If your coach isn't rolling, sit on them and chat with them and like
Do a floor all around your coach.
yeah,
Look after.
like little things like that which are all available to us. But I think we all associate training with hard rounds, which it doesn't always have to be. Training's skill development and making improvements.
Yeah.
Sparring's hard rounds.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, sorry. You can ask yourself, why have I got injured as well? Am I sparring too much?
100%.
Am I, every time you come in and you're doing 10 rounds, every round, and you're trying to pass someone's guard like it's ADCC.
Yeah.
And against, and you should be kind of looking to build skills
in
the sparring rounds.
And even like, are you looking after your body around training as well? Like, are you warming up? Are you
turning up for warm ups?
Yeah, turning up for warm ups. Like, if you're coming in for say just an open mat, you're turning up for open mats. Are you like warming up beforehand or phasing up your intensity, or are you going in like 100%? Like,
Stupid.
That's gonna get you injured. Like the running joke in here with like I'll say to some of the lads, I'm not gonna grab you until I'm like 4 or 5 rounds in, and it's a joke, but it's also serious because I know the intensity and I know I need to get warm.
Yeah, one of my favourite quotes from a coach I got a long time ago was, just like a car, once those miles go on, you can't take them off.
No.
So if you're only coming in, it's open mat, and nothing against if you want to just do open mat, but if you're doing open mat 3 times a week and doing 30 rounds a week, hard, you can't do that forever.
No.
And people will be like, it's only 3 sessions a week. Yeah, but it's hard rounds.
And it's accumulating wear and tear on the body.
You're not warming up, you're not cooling down. You're just coming in, we're doing